Morning, everybody. Today I'm going to be discussing parental alienation, and it's the way various people recognize it within South African context, and specifically, it's alleged within the Family Advocate's Office. They do not recognize parental alienation as a form of abuse. And if you have a look at circa 2019, the World Health Organization promulgated that parental alienation syndrome is abuse, and it will be promulgated in the CDC on the 1st of January 2022. But what has happened is obviously because your child abusing divorce industry are now going to be limited in their ability to make blood money, they're trying to have it overturned. Parental alienation is recognized as abuse in Brazil, Gibraltar, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Romania, Switzerland. And there's a couple of states in America that recognize it as parental alienation, as abuse. There is 14 states in America that do recognize shared parenting as the de facto standard, so that both parents are obliged to share the child or the rights and responsibilities towards the child. But let us assume that these very clever lawyers and child abusing psychologists and pedophilic advocates and so on are able to convince those people that parental alienation doesn't exist. Then let's have a look at it from another way. And I'm going to use the word alienation so that you guys understand what I'm talking about. But assuming that alienation doesn't exist, then what is going on? Is it coercion? Is it manipulation? Is it blackmail? Is it intimidation? Is it mental and psychological child abuse? Is it what else domestic violence? Is it domestic? Does it fall out within the ambit of the Domestic Violence Act, and so on and so forth? And quite categorically, if you have a look and read it, for instance, like coercion, okay, coercion is described by Dr. Evan Stark. The primary outcome of coercive control is a condition of entrapment that can be a hostage-like in the harms it inflicts on dignity, liberty, autonomy, and personhood, as well as to physically and psychological integrity. So, and if you go further with coercion, what is the basic identifying aspects of coercion? So it's isolating a person from their friends and family, keeping track of their time. You're not allowed to talk to daddy, or monitoring the child's calls, or making the child put the calls on voice, and or having the video open. Depriving them of basic needs or access to support services like specialist support and medical services. Where have you heard that before? Tracking a person via online communication tools or making use of spyware. Well, we know that. And also taking away the ability of the coerced child to be able to communicate. So taking away their cell phone, denying them, blocking WhatsApp and Skype and all of those kind of various things. Taking control over facets of their everyday life, like as to where they go, who they can see, what to wear, and when they can sleep. Continuously putting them down, such as informing that they are worthless. It forms part of the brainwashing, guys. Enforcing rules and activities which embarrass, degrades, or dehumanizes the victim. Requiring the victim to take part in criminal activities such as shoplifting, neglect, or abuse of children to encourage self-blame and restrict disclosure to authorities. Let me just say that neglect or abuse of children, self-blame, and restrict of disclosure to authorities. Okay, so how many of you guys have told me over the years that no, the child has told the play therapist or the psychologist or the family advocate that if they tell on mommy or daddy that they will be taken away, and that mommy or daddy will die, or something terrible is going to happen to them. Blackmail. Okay. Financial abuse, such as control of finances. Okay, so in the instance of this, it's not the control of finances, but it's the extortion of finances. If you want to have 1 minute with your child, pay us 20 million rand. You know the story. Threats to hurt or kill to a child, to expose. There you have it. So if you tell the nice lady that mommy's hurting you, or telling bad things about daddy, or whatever the case may be, then mommy is going to go to jail, and then I'll have to kill you. To expose or publish private information, threatening to out someone, assault or rape. Okay, so assault or rape, mental and psychological abuse. Criminal damage, like as destruction of household goods. Well, how many of you guys have told me about how your houses and your cars and your business get trashed? Okay, preventing a person from having access to transportation or from work. So the one around the transportation, not so much in the child regarding work, but with transportation, denying the child right of being able to, allowing the child to go and see the other parent or the alienating parent. So you guys have got to. So so let us assume in this discussion you are dealing with somebody that doesn't want to accept that parental alienation exists. So here is the argument, guys. It's coercion. It's blackmail. It is mental and psychological abuse. It is manipulation. It is brainwashing. Okay, all of these quite easily would fall under the Domestic Violence Act. Okay, but the problem is that because invariably the alienator is so manipulative, the burden of actually having to prove parental alienation falls on the alienated parent. So you have to keep extensive documentation. The other thing that you guys have also got to realize is that there is different. If you have a look at it, there's various levels of alienation. So it's low end, medium, and high end. And if you have a look at it where the parent has just moved off and they've buggered off to another town, city, or country, and they're just denying you contact, that in itself is not actually parental alienation. They're just denying you contact. They're not brainwashing. They are not mentally, psychologically, physically, and sexually abusing your child. Okay, they've just taken the child away from you and you can't see it. Okay, that in essence, in the true sense of the word, is not parental alienation. It is where the blackmail, the intimidation, the isolation, the coercion, the brainwashing, the mental and psychological abuse that the child is put through. That is where it stops. That is where it starts. And there's varying degrees of that. So low, medium, and high-end parental alienation. And you now need to sort of like figure out where in the spectrum you actually sit. That matrix, as far as I've been able to ascertain, doesn't exist. It's just a very broad stroke at the moment. So when you are dealing with parental alienation, you need to be using words like brainwashing, coercion, intimidation, emotional and psychological abuse, domestic abuse, and so on, so that you can create a holistic presentation of the facts. For those guys in Gauteng, if you need me to come and sit down with your lawyer, if you need me to go with you to the other side, when you go to have meetings with the other side, I'm also available. Unfortunately, I cannot represent you in court, but I can support you in court and sit there and give guidance during the court proceedings. So if you guys want to reach out to me, I am available. Currently in Gauteng, those willing to fly me to Cape Town and Durban and wherever, I'm open to the possibility. Let me know.